Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio, and today I am here with Chris Shaw, who is the, what are you over there?
I mean, I have lots of titles, but let's go with Focal North American Product Specialist. So
yeah, so he's the guy that trains everybody and tells them how things work, and they certainly have a lot to talk about. You know, there's going to be chapters in this, so if you don't want to hear this story about Focal, you can just move on. But I want you to know something. Focal is not, I hate bullshit companies. Focal is not bullshit. I have been there. I have seen them using lasers to look at how the breakup modes and how they pioneered, really. I mean, the common use, the modern use of Beryllium, how they make all their drivers in-house, flax drivers, which I thought was magic, and it is magic, and they wouldn't let me take a frickin' picture of it while I was there. Everything was like secret. Can I get a picture? No. Can I get a picture? No. I mean, but it was so impressive. And they even make cabinets. I mean, they have cabinets in other parts of Europe and in other parts of France, right?
yes, definitely. We have our own cabinet factory just north of Lyon in Beaumont-Lancy.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful there. My wife and I, we just went bonkers. So, all right. So, what is the? Oh, I want to say one more thing. There are high-end companies right now that may not even exist were it not for Focal in their beginnings as JM Labs, as a company that made drivers that made other people rich. Is that true?
Oh yes, I mean in our 45 years of history, we've obviously manufactured for ourselves, but we manufacture for a lot of other manufacturers out there as well. And I mean we've kind of limited that to this day, but really to focus on ourselves. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of companies over there with a lot of Focal and JM Labs history.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So this is the Utopia Diva, and it is I don't know what to say about it. He told me, he said, well, it's kind of a lifestyle product, and I hate that word lifestyle because that means it's not an audiophile product. But then after I learned how it can fix a room, but not just fix a room, compensate for your hearing problems. It is the first time I've ever seen that, and we're going to cover that in just a moment. You gotta stay on to hear about the software. But let's talk briefly about the drivers that's in here and the power and the amps.
Awesome. Well, as you mentioned, this is our brand new Diva Utopia. We just launched this here in early October, and of course we're causing quite a stir with this. Obviously, there's a few things. One is that what's really exciting, there's three really exciting things really at this point in time. The first one is that this is our first active wireless speaker. This has been causing a lot of stir. Everyone's curious about it, to hear it. Obviously, I mean, we brought it to you to listen to, and I think that we had some great results. But probably the most exciting part is that, stemming back to a little bit of our history, we have Focal purchased Naim back in 2011, and this is the first product where we have both companies working in synergy to create a single product. And so this is Focal product or speakers powered by Naim electronics.
Right on. And Naim makes incredible sounding products, and they're very, very well suited to the Focal gig, I guess, for lack of a better term. Now, this cabinet is kind of bonkers. What are they doing here?
So we do have our cabinet factory, and we're still going to have our cabinet factory. We handcraft a lot of our stuff, but with this, we wanted something a little bit different. So we've used a high-density polymer for this cabinet. You've seen this already in the past with Focal Canta. We've developed all the front faces of Canta with that high-density polymer, and now we've taken the opportunity to use it in Diva, and this has allowed us to do a lot of things. It's allowed us to structure a cabinet that's virtually completely inert, but also allows us to have placements for the Focal speakers, proper placements, as well as for those Naim electronics.
Right, and so we have, I think there's 4 amplifiers in here, right?
Correct.
One of them is driving a pair of drivers over here. They are, what size are they?
So we'll kind of go through all the drivers. Okay. I mean, obviously we have our brand new Beryllium tweeter, which we'll focus on in a moment. We have mid-range, 6.5-inch mid-range, and then we have 4 6.5-inch mid-bass drivers, so 2 on either side in a push-push configuration. So now when it comes to the amplification is that being that this is active, is that we basically have, as you mentioned, 4 Class AB amplifiers. So one of these amplifiers is 75 watts for the tweeter, one of these amplifiers is 75 watts for the mid-range, and then we have 125 watts for each side. So a total of 250 or a grand total of 400 watts total for the entire cabinet. And that's, of course, obviously multiplied by 2 because we have 2 speakers.
Okay, got it. And these are all Utopia class products. I mean, this is the tweeter is there, it's the inverted.
So this is a new tweeter for us, actually. This is our new M-profile Beryllium tweeter. Now, we've had this technology in some of our other collections, like the car audio side. It's also the same profile that we put in all of our high-end headphones, the Utopia, the Clear MG, and now we're bringing this into our floor standing products with the M profile. So the advantages of it is it gives us, a lot better or a lot less directivity. So it allows us to have larger sweet spots so that we don't have to be in that 2x2 foot cushion to be in the right place in the room, where we now can shift that left to right, front to back as well. As well as that, it gives us a lot more rigidity and a lot more dampening characteristics. So it's a lot faster, a lot more precise with the new technology.
And the problem is, as you go from bass, can you hear the drag strip in the background? Just so happens that the Winston World Finals are like next door to us, so it's tremendous fun. Anyway, so the problem is as you go from bass on up to the mid band and then on up to higher frequencies, the higher up you go, the more beamy it becomes. So it goes from here on up to here, and then on up to here. And the problem is how to overcome that for everybody in the room. And they've done a masterful job of that. I know that because of my grand utopias in my own room. I mean, people enjoy it over there and over there. But you've done even more than that, and we're going to talk about the software in a minute. Okay, what else are we looking at here?
So really, this is an all-in-one solution. This is really exciting because really, once you roll these out of the box, all you need to supply is power and an internet connection, whether it be a direct Ethernet connection or a Wi-Fi signal. So that's one thing that's really exciting. We've been kind of touring a little bit of the country with these, and everyone's like, "Great, I love these. Where's the streamer? I just need to add a streamer or a source?" That's already built into this unit, and that's using the Naim streaming platform, the MP800 chipset that we've used in all of our Naim products for the last few years.
And then getting back to this thing about the word lifestyle, really, I told him don't use that word. I didn't mean to be rude.
No.
But then after I learned about how this can help save your marriage, then,
yes.
Well, come on, let's be real about it.
I mean, being that I work for Focal, I mean, I have my other half, and we swipe through the pages, and we're going through it, and I have access to everything, and she's going, nope, nope, nope. And then we got to Diva, and she went, okay, maybe, which I mean in my world is a yes. So it was something, we wanted a product that really fit into our everyday, and again, I know we don't want to use the word lifestyle, but it does fit into our everyday lifestyle. We want to have this up in our main listing rooms. We want to be integrated into our homes. We don't want something that stands out. And so with this is that we've done a few things. One is that we have no wires other than power cords. Really, that's first and foremost. And so that, in my world, my other half was like, I love that there is nothing but just the speakers. Now, the other side of this is that, we've talked about the software, we mentioned the software, but the software is really there because we also understand that this product will not be necessarily in the ideal positioning or world. I mean, we may have a room full of glass. We may have these actually potentially offset in the room because it looks better. And in our world, normally on the hi-fi side, we want it to sound better than look better. But in this case here, we want it to look good and also sound good.
Yeah, I mean, in my house, the way that it rolls is this. If I got to put a speaker in front of a doorway so nobody can get in or out of the room at all, I don't care. That's where I'm going to put the speaker. But in the case of this, it helps to overcome that problem for positioning that may not be prime, and of course, for rooms that suck. So why don't you go over just a couple of those things in the software package?
So with this is that we did develop a proprietary, it's a proprietary DSP that we've built into the speakers themselves. And what's very unique is that, everyone asks us, where's the microphone? What microphone do we use? And the fact is that we actually have 2 microphones right here. We have we use your ears or the consumer's ears for setup and calibration, because that's the best microphone that we could possibly have. And so with this is that when we set this up into a room and we have them positioned where everybody is happy, is that we take a couple of quick measurements first and foremost. So with that is that we'll take a measurement from the front of the cabinet to the back wall. We'll take a measurement from the middle of the cabinet to the side wall, and we do this individually for both the left and the right speaker because, as we mentioned, they may not necessarily be symmetrical within the room. From there, once we've measured those two measurements, we'll now measure between the speakers, and then we'll measure from what we call the primary speaker to the listening area. And so this gives the speaker an understanding of where it's positioned in relative relation to where you're sitting. So that's the first step, and of course this is a 3-step process. The second step is really the magic, is where the magic starts on this, is that we will play a series of roughly 6 test tones, and using your ears is that we will now start to align these test tones to where we want our listening position or our listening stage to sit. So this is wonderful, especially if we have something offset. Maybe we have a flat panel TV in between of them, and of course we obviously want that sound coming from that TV area. So we can now start to align those tones onto that listening position. But there is an added benefit of this, is that we're not only correcting for room positioning, but we're also correcting to our own personal ears, where possibly, we have someone that has maybe a little bit of hearing impairment on one side or the other, or potentially on different frequencies. And so because we're using, your client's ears as the microphone, we're able to calibrate to their listening.
Right, and I want to drive this home. I think if you've heard me bitching and moaning, I ended up getting recently some tinnitus. I've never had it before, and it is from using earbuds. And you guys know I love you. I don't try to sell you stuff. I care about our customers, and I would tell you to be very, very cautious with in-ear drivers, to not play them very loud. There's a lot, and had I known this, I would have really been. I've been careful all these years. I've been in the hi-fi business for 47 years, right? But anyway, the bottom line is I just had my hearing checked last week. And I have a little bit of loss now, which really annoyed me. I never had it before. A little bit in both ears, but my right ear, it's a little more profound. And this will allow me to help compensate for that.
Correct.
And that's what shocked me about this.
So, and again, this is, we really developed this for room placement, but we found that this really allows us to custom tailor to the end user, which is wonderful. So, as I mentioned, that is step 2 of 3. And so, of course, the last one is that we understand that also rooms are not going to be perfect. We're going to have weird places where we'll have room modes. Maybe some of the bottom end will be non-existent. There'll be places where in our listening area, depending on how it's positioned, where we have lots of bass. And so step 3 is actually basically us calibrating it so that we have continuity between all the frequencies for amplitude or for volume. And so with this is that we will go through basically it's a 6-step process as well. And so it's different frequencies or different octaves of frequencies where we go through and we'll play a test tone 1, 2, and then back to 1. So it's kind of like going to the eye doctor asking you, which is better, A or B? In this case, we want A and B to be equal. And so we have the ability to now adjust those frequencies so that they have the same output.
And you do that on the app.
Yes, so
It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, man, it is cooler than shit.
So everything is done through the full Naim app, which of course has been amazing. This app works all the way from our, $699 Batiste headphones, all the way up to our $40,000 set of Divas and everything in between on the full Naim ecosystem, which is fantastic.
So, and getting back to it, in case you didn't get this is your stereo system now. We didn't talk about are we done with the software, or do you want to talk about the inputs?
Yeah, I think the last thing to point out is that this software is not complex. It's 15 minutes to run it from step 1 to 3 with multiple, with the integrated steps in between. And anybody that has a pair of ears can do this, or ears, can do this. I
got to hand it to you because you did make it very, very simple. I witnessed it yesterday. So now this is a built-in, this is your streamer. And I'm going to tell you, it is Naim technology, right?
Yes.
And Naim is known. Naim is known for having some of the best sounding streamers on the market, I would say. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I mean, coming into this side of the world, onto the home side, I've been able to experience a lot of products, and Naim is definitely
they're fantastic. So you've got the streamer built in, and of course it's going to be compatible with everything out there. It is not Roon compatible. I just want to get that out of the way.
Right.
But you know, you can still use Rune, but you have to do it with.
Yeah, it does it in a little bit of a different way. Well, it would do it through a Chromecast or through an AirPlay application
There you
in
go.
those
There you
cases.
go.
But
Yeah.
you know, and again, we want this to integrate into the home. So we do have some other, you know, I mean, well, let's kind of go back to the app a little bit on it because we do have things like Tidal, Qobuz, Spotify. These are native into the app itself. You know, we have internet radio feature sets. With that as well as that we have things like USB. We have a USB port on the back of this, so you can take your thumb drive and plug your music into it. If you're already on the Focal Naim ecosystem, you know, maybe you have a Unity core. As an example, if you haven't heard of our core, it's where we can rip our CDs in bit perfect copy and then place them so that we can have access to any of those CDs on any Naim product. And this is capable of that as well. But we do want to put a couple cool features into this as well. We understand that this will maybe sit in our living spaces. So we have an HDMI with eARC and CEC control. So we can now power our TV on. These will power on. We turn the volume up on the TV. These will turn up on the volume.
Yeah.
We also have an analog input. Maybe we have somebody that has a very large vinyl collection. And we also have an optical input as well. So maybe those that want to have a CD player or have some equipment that they want to put into this unit. So it's everything.
Yeah, and then the sound, I mean, combining all that technology with Naim amps and then your upper line drivers is just absolutely heaven. Now, one more thing, we didn't talk about the color. I fell in love with this, but you guys are also coming out. These panels come off, and they're coming up with colored panels.
Right. So,
soon.
And we'll talk a little bit on the material. So this is a high-end felt, and of course, with this being, as we mentioned, a lifestyle product, is that we took styling cues from, you know, the high-end clothing luxury kind of area. Companies like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes, and felt is really in. So that's why we made the decision to basically supply every model with a set of felt. Now, early 2025, we'll have, as you mentioned, we will have replacement panels, which means that you basically go to your Focal Powered by Naim partner or your Diva exclusive partner, and they will change the finishes for you. You'll be able to have access to a high gloss white, high gloss black. It will be more of a champagne kind of finish as well. That's also a high lacquer, and then we'll have 2 wood finishes. But the reality is that as time goes on, I could see us having just about an infinite amount of panels available.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So look, this is one of only 5 of them as of the time of making this video. There's only 5 of them in all of North America and in Canada. They flew out here, brought these to us because they know that we're very excited and we love Focal. We just did their stuff. And so we're very honored to have them here. But by the time this launches, we're going to have them soon. Let's just put it that way. We have a very strong relationship with you folks. I think we do a good job, and it's because my employees dig it. You know, I dig it. And so come to our beautiful store here in Southern California. Talk to my salespeople. They're all not on commission. There's none of that jive, right? I mean, they're here to just make sure that you are happy. So, you know, we say at Upscale Audio, we're going to treat your system like it's ours. And I'm going to thank Chris Shaw for flying all the way down here.
Well, it's always my pleasure to come visit you guys.
Right on. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.